As we look back these many months, 18, we began the reign of our king and queen. Kingdom augurs, as usual, often vague, of course, did not prepare us for this plague. Now it seems this curse is never ending. In isolation, our days we're spending. The stab of loss has been felt by us all. Loved ones are taken to Valhalla's hall. Alas, in the darkness there is a light. The kingdom's future is becoming bright. 9 times we met, but we could not be there. Pray this be the last court on the ether. This court of Morgan, by right of arms king, Elizabeth, by grace and beauty queen, by these 3 ancient words that heralds say, is now begun. Oh yea, oh yea, oh yea.
Nice intro, Michaelis.
That was very cool.
So greetings, Atenveldt. There's well over 100 of us here. That's super impressive. And I cannot tell you how excited we are that this is most likely the last virtual court that we have to do, as the BOD is starting to lift many of the restrictions starting on July 1st.
So Atenveldt as a kingdom will remain closed until the 1st of July. So although the BOD has lifted some restrictions for June, they're still pretty tight. And so we are electing to just keep things closed until July, when a lot of those restrictions have lifted.
And even with those restrictions lifting, there's still going to be rules that we have to follow for the rest of the year.
The remainder of the year is going to consist of all kingdom-sponsored events. So there won't be any baronial or shire or college local style events, but we do have a bunch of events planned.
Other things to note is that all officially scheduled events are going to require pre-reg.
So the events that we're looking at doing throughout this summer will take us to the northern part of the kingdom, across the Central Valley, and then down into the south. We are going to have events that we call Day in the Park events, which is to say that we're just going to gather in a park and enjoy each other's company. It'll be less formal maybe than some of the events that you are accustomed to, but the idea is to get everybody reacclimated and used to seeing one another before we launch into full-fledged back at it.
Yeah, and we're hoping to have, fighting and whatnot, just to fill out the day.
And maybe the best part for us is we have dates for coronation, the weekend of October 22nd to 24th. Your Highnesses, do you have any words for your populace?
Yeah, so with regards to coronation, and a lot of this is tentative depending on the site and bids that we receive. We will be having a Friday evening court with Morgan and Elizabeth, and we will be holding our champions on Saturday morning. And this is really important because it is out of order compared to how we normally hold coronations. And the Saturday morning champions will include my Queen's champion. And because it's been well over a year since we made this announcement initially, I would like to remind everybody, tell your friends, that my Queen's champion will be open to both the chivalry and the unbelted. I know this is out of standard kingdom practice. However, I made a couple of promises when I thought that this may or may not ever be a thing, and I am holding myself to it. So chivalry will be invited to compete and be Queen's champion. And for His Highness.
Yeah, so we'll be doing the King's Cut and Thrust tournament that day as well. And we are also looking at, depending on bids, doing archery as well. We want to keep all those kind of in order. So as long as, we get a site that we can do archery at or somewhere nearby, we will be doing the archery champion at that time as well.
And also, we would like to invite parents of youth combatants to email us at heirs@atenveldt.org if youth are able to participate, we will seed in youth combat in between the Queen's Champion Bear Pit, which by the way will be bring your best, but we want to hear from parents on, if we will have enough attendees to hold the youth champion. If we don't, then of course we'll place it later in the year. So we won't overlook it. We just want to make sure that we dedicate time if we will have the youth there. And then in the evening time is when we will actually have the coronation court itself. We are looking forward to like a sundown, torch lit coronation court. So it'll be a very full day. Hydrate, prepare yourselves. And then Sunday, we're hopeful to hold a war practice, and we'll be in conversation with our, what's the word I'm looking for? Our general. Well, we're going to talk to our general, who's been very communicative and has lots of plans. So we'll make sure that he's available. We'll talk about the war practice for that. So hopefully. Oh yeah, Count Thomas de Revel is our general for this year. So. And
he is super gung ho about it.
Yeah. So and get excited, everybody.
Yeah. He's got some charisma and energy that we're stoked about.
So that's it for our coronation announcement.
Yeah. Is it?
I think so, yeah.
All right.
Covered it.
Your Highnesses, did you want to talk about Estrella?
Yeah, we just weren't sure if we were like peppering it or doing it all at once.
That's what they want to know. So
it's what everybody wants to know. That's why we're so busy today.
Let me stretch and get ready for this.
Do you want me to start?
Yeah, do it.
All right. So at this point, we are planning on holding Estrella. We will be opening pre-reg as soon as possible. With that, pre-reg is going to be required to attend, and that's due to, kind of the guidelines of making sure that we can kind of control our numbers as well as know exactly who was at the event. There is going to be a minimum amount of attendees that'll be kind of required for us to have the event. If we don't have that, if we don't meet that minimum requirement, it's just a ton of money that we could lose on the event, which means that we may not be able to hold the event in the future. So with that in mind, we will also be looking at doing a cap for a maximum amount of attendees. And that way, we're not just going kind of crazy and ridiculous, but we want to continue to be as safe as we possibly can, which is why we're going to end up putting these numbers. We don't know what those numbers are exactly quite yet.
But as soon as we do, it will be updated on an EstrellaWar.org FAQ page, frequently asked questions. So that being said, please go to EstrellaWar.org and sign up and subscribe for your email notifications for important announcements and how that information will roll forward. And probably most importantly this year, given everything that's going on and the extra facilities that we'll be needing to hold an event, there will be a non-refundable COVID surcharge for site fee this year. And once we have numbers in place, we'll be releasing that along with the pre-reg.
And the only Her Highness had mentioned the Estrella FAQ page. I think we've mentioned it in the past, but if you have not gotten a chance to go look at that website or even the Atenveldt website, there's been a lot of work that has been done and put into that over the period of time that we have not been able to see each other. And that team of people they've just done a wonderful job, and it's absolutely beautiful, and just, I don't know, I love it. So
he speaks from a web dev perspective, but yes, so thank you very much for everybody that's putting in work, and a lot of this is rolling forward and will be out soon, so we're excited, and it's one step at a time, and we're releasing information as soon as we have it. So thank you very much for everybody's both patience and excitement.
So I've already seen questions coming through, and I would urge all of you to direct those to the Crown and Heirs emails so that we can work on getting answers to some of those questions for possibly things that we haven't thought of yet. So.
And honestly, if you have the question, odds are somebody else has it too. And so we want to get those answers up on that FAQ page as well.
And what was the email address for the COVID questions? It's like popped in my brain that we have it, but what it is blocked right now.
I don't know it offhand.
Yeah, we're the worst. Sorry, but it exists. It's out there.
I know that you can get to it through the FAQ COVID page off of the
Yeah,
Kingdom
it's at the
website.
bottom.
Yep. So,
All right, you ready to
I'm
jump
ready.
in?
Michaelis?
Their Royal Majesties now wish to talk with the wondrous Lucia de Broc.
So, this lovely gentle, she has made quite the impression on the archery community. And she's been competing. She's won a couple of shoots. She participated at Australia War this past year. She's just been invaluable with her assistance on the archery field, and she does all of the setting up and the taking down. She's got a great attitude and makes people around her smile. And so this day we would like to recognize her as a Lady of Atenveldt.
We, the Crown of Atenveldt, having seen the hard work and dedication of our noble subjects, are pleased with the renown brought to our realm. For this and many other reasons are why on this 5th day of June in the 56th year of the Society, commonly known as 2021, we grant Lucia de Broc with an award of arms, Morgan King, Elizabeth Queen. 3 cheers for this new Lady of Atenveldt. Hip hip.
Huzzah!
Huzzah!
Hip hip.
Huzzah!
Huzzah!
Hip hip.
Huzzah!
Their Majesties would have before them Cian MacConmara.
So this gentle has been super active in social media, be it through Barony of Atenveldt, Kingdom social media for 4 years. And he's been helpful in integrating social media with our Kingdom website and just been invaluable in this time of plague where everything is virtual. And for that, this day we make him a beacon.
Whereas it has come to our attention that Cian MacConmara has demonstrated dedication and honor in service to our realm, we, Morgan and Elizabeth, King and Queen of glorious Atenveldt, do hereby admit this faithful subject into our order of the Beacon of the Desert, done this 5th day of the 6th month, Anno Societatis 56, being 2021 in the Common Era. Morgan King, Elizabeth Queen. 3 cheers for this newest beacon of the desert. Hip hip.
Huzzah!
Hip hip.
Huzzah!
Hip hip.
Huzzah!
So knowing that the world is starting to open back up on July 1st, that does mean that groups are able to begin holding fighter practices again as of the 1st of July.
A reminder for that, though, is that we're going to have to stay compliant with city and county rules.
Everybody who comes to a fighter practice or a scribal gathering or an ANS,
Populous meetings.
all of those need to sign a waiver. And the reason behind this is they are looking for infection control, right? Everybody will need to sign a waiver and provide a phone number where they can be reached. And these documents are to be kept on file with the Kingdom Seneschal's office for no less than 60 days by order of society.
Oh, yeah.
And again, that's solely for infection control. If we do have an outbreak, they need to be able to track it.
So
Yep,
bad.
Dave Michaelis.
The Majesties would see Alexandre Torgerson ni Lefebvre.
You can do it.
So this lovely gentle has been doing illuminations and giving of her art to benefit both the kingdom and the baronies of Grimsdottir and Grimsdottir. She's played in a number of kingdoms and has probably kind of slipped through the cracks given her artistic nature. And so today we would recognize her as a flower of the desert.
Inasmuch as our subject, Alexandre Torgerson, has demonstrated knowledge in the arts and sciences, we, the noble Morgan and Elizabeth, King and Queen of all Atenveldt, are pleased to admit our subject into our order of the flower of the desert. We ask that our beloved subject continue to share their expertise and to be a model of artistic and scientific merit to all people in our realm. Given by our hands and our seal this 5th day of June in the year 2021, being reckoned as Societatis 56, we sign here as Morgan Rex Atenveldt, Elizabeth Regina Atenveldt. 3 cheers for this newest flower of the desert. Hip, hip,
Huzzah.
Huzzah.
hip, hip,
Huzzah.
hip, hip.
Huzzah.
Their Majesties would see Randvi Wolfsfeldt.
So this gentle has been super helpful before the plague with water bearing and helping anywhere she sees a need. And today we will make her a lady of Atenveldt.
Now paid heed, all ye unto whom these words come. It is our duty and pleasure to honor such of our subjects who have through loyalty and dedication brought renown and enriched the kingdom of Atenveldt. For this cause, we hereby bestow an award of arms unto Randvi Wolfsfeldt on this 5th day of June, Societatis 56, in 2021 in the Common Era. Morgan, King, Elizabeth, Queen. 3 cheers for this newest lady of Atenveldt. Hip, hip,
Huzzah.
hip, hip,
Huzzah.
hip, hip.
Huzzah.
You want to do
Yep.
this?
So another question I know everybody's wanting to know the answer to, as far as having to wear masks moving forward when we start things back up in July. And as a kingdom, we will not be mandating it. But if a site or a location does, we will have to wear masks.
So having said that, it's very important that everybody realizes that whether you choose to wear a mask or not is a personal decision. And harassing others either for wearing a mask when you don't think they should, or not wearing a mask when you do think they should, that constitutes bullying and we won't tolerate it. So just handle your own preferences for yourself and respect others and trust them to do the same for themselves as well. Okay, Michaelis.
Their Majesty have business with Ellisif Eldr Grimsdottir.
So I first became aware of this lovely lady when she entered a Queen's Prize throughout the plague time, honestly. And I was just so taken with her black work. It's beautiful. And then just a couple of months ago, she very kindly sent these beautiful needle books. And I'm going to admit that I totally am keeping one for myself because they are stunning. And I love the opportunity to hand them out as largesse. They just are so beautiful. And her generosity with her arts astounds me. And so today we would recognize her as a flower of the desert.
Let it be known that we, Morgan and Elizabeth, being pleased by the artistic skill and enthusiasm of our subject, do hereby name Ellisif Eldr Grimsdottir, a companion of the flower of the desert. By our hands this 5th day of June, Societatis 56, 2021 in the Common Era. Morgan, King, Elizabeth, Queen. 3 cheers for this newest flower of the desert. Hip, hip,
Huzzah.
hip, hip,
Huzzah.
hip, hip.
Huzzah.
Majesties have a business with Aurora Thaw.
So Aurora has been shining in this kingdom between being deputy kingdom social media, helping with social media integration with the kingdom website, helping with the wiki page, hosting newcomers, helping with dance related events and running events just everywhere. And so today we will make her a light.
Be it known to all before whom these letters come that our subject, Aurora Thaw, having served our realm most outstandingly, does deserve reward. Therefore, we are minded to admit to our order of the Light of Atenveldt that we do this by our hand this 5th day of June, Societatis 56, being 2021 in the Common Era. Morgan, King, Elizabeth, Queen. 3 cheers for this newest Light of Atenveldt. Hip, hip,
Huzzah.
hip, hip,
Huzzah.
hip, hip.
Huzzah. So I have noticed a couple of questions coming by that there's maybe some confusion. There what's going to count as pre-reg for fighter practices and scribal meets, ANS, and nights, and populous meetings will be the waiver signing. You could do it when you get there. So it's not, you won't have to do that ahead of time, but events, there will be a pre-reg that has to be done. And then other things of note, circles. On June 26th, we're looking at doing circles, right?
Yep, all 4 of them.
All 4 of them.
Yep. So we have actually, we've been putting a lot of thought into how to manage these because they will be virtual circles. And so we have a Google form that is viewable only by ourselves and their highnesses that we will get published shortly after court. There is a due date. It's on the Google form so that we have a few days to compile the information and determine, you know, who and what we're going to talk about when it comes time to do the circles. So we will be reaching out to some people to help us admin those because of course we need somebody to do things like let people in from the waiting room and that sort of thing. And then we will release the schedule for those circles shortly as well.
And on top of that, B of A's investiture is going to be on October 16th. They've much needed retirement. They need their rest.
Very well deserved. So we look forward to a day with their excellencies and a day with the incoming excellencies, whomever that shall be.
Their Majesties would have before them Ulrich von Wolfsfeldt.
So Ulrich has just always been there when we're out on the archery field. He is always quite welcoming.
And helpful.
And helpful, yeah. And just friendly and open. And he teaches and he helps run the archery range.
Yep. And sometimes too, which keeps him from actually getting to shoot.
Yeah. And he makes us look good, which is the thing.
Not easy on the archery field.
Not easy. And so we made this decision over a year ago.
Yeah.
Today we would name him as our commander of the Azure Archers.
Favored by the gods Artemis and Apollo, the bow and arrow defend our kingdom from all enemies. Thus it is our duty to recognize those whose strength of arms and keenness of eye keep us well guarded. But it is our pleasure to recognize those who also enhance, strengthen, and support our archery community. So it gives us supreme joy to acknowledge our good Ulrich von Wolfsfeldt for his continued and unstinting service and dedication, and do hereby create him a commander of the Order of the Azure Archers of Atenveldt. This we do on the 2nd day of May in the 55th year of the Society, being the 2020th year of the Common Era. Morgan, Rex, Elizabeth, Regina. 3 cheers for this newest commander of the Azure Archers. Hip, hip.
Huzzah!
Hip, hip.
Huzzah!
Hip, hip.
Huzzah!
So, like we've done in a couple of previous courts, we do have a list of folks that we would like to thank for their efforts during these COVID times. We are starting to wrap these up, but we actually have more coming.
Yes.
So I'm sorry, Sam. So
Grumble, grumble, grumble. Yay, work for scribes.
so Michaelis, if you would, please.
Adelheid Meyer zum Feltenberg, Aisha Raina Al-Karim, Ad de Beerslis, Camille de Misericordia, Caroline Marie de Fontanelis, Elizabeth von Sonnenthal, Emma of Somerset, Iselda de Nibon, James Constantine, Carius Hutzelman, Kikuchi Kutsamitsu, Leiden of Lachlan, Naomi of Mons to Nitrous, Niall McTaggart, Oilrun Rodfeather, Ursula Gelso, Sean, Tuyi, and Zahira.
So thank you again to all of these great gentles for all of their work during COVID. It's been difficult on everybody. And we know that those folks who have gone above and beyond to help keep the dream alive for the rest of us, they just deserve our utmost gratitude. And we are honored to be able to give that to them.
And we know that everybody likes to be reminded and thanked.
3 cheers for all of these fine gentles and their willingness to help even in these bad times. Hip, hip,
Huzzah.
hip, hip,
Huzzah.
hip, hip.
Huzzah.
All right. So we threw out a challenge at the end of May when we went out and volunteered at a COVID vaccination site.
Yep.
So we saw a great need for volunteers because a lot of those vaccination sites, once the vaccinations opened up, they were really struggling. And so we put out a call to everybody across the kingdom to please volunteer and send in their hours.
And Grimsdottir, far and above, surpassed.
Just crazy. Over 400 hours sent in. So we have a banner for them that was created by Odd the Beardless, and it is so cool. And we will make sure to get that in the hands of their excellencies. So thank you to Grimsdottir for all of your hard work, and to everybody across the kingdom who volunteered. Thank you so much. You helped get us back to normal.
Yeah, every bit of it helped.
Your Majesties, I did have one request for an announcement I need to make.
Okay.
Lady Finna wanted to announce that they are doing another video challenge, and they want to try to get Atenveldt to lead the charge. And so they have she's put the instructions out in the Kingdom Facebook group, and it has all the information that they should need. The due dates for submissions will be Monday, June 14th, but the sooner you can get your submissions in, the more the editors will be able to do for you. But that's the announcement we want to make. Again, it's the video challenge, and let's have Atenveldt get out there and take it over.
Before we wrap up, do you want to do that?
I do. So as tough as these virtual courts are on our end, having to do it here, it's also got to be tough on all of the people that have helped put them together. And so we'd like to put out a huge thank you to the people that have helped to make these actually function and helped us learn along the way how to make them better. And so Lord Cian, Baroness Sigrid, and Baroness Arisco, thank you so much.
Thank you. They've been instrumental in every single court, showing the pictures of the scrolls and the folks who are receiving the scrolls and running the meetings and it's a lot of work. And thank you all very, very much.
Yeah, these things would not function without that. So.
Do you have more? Your Highnesses, do you have any closing words?
I mean, I think we just want to echo the same. We wanted to thank everybody who has participated virtually. We know that it is not an ideal situation, but we're very happy that we as a kingdom really pulled together and were able to do a lot of that. And, you know, I've heard from our friends in other kingdoms that they've enjoyed our content as well. And we're very grateful for the amount of things that Atenveldt as a whole put together.
That was very well worded. No, I'm super excited to get to see people in person again. It has been a long time coming, and thank you everybody for putting in the effort and doing what we had to do to get where we can. So.
All right. So side note, we're at 141 people. That is crazy. So thank you, everybody, for joining us today. And if you have questions moving forward, you can absolutely contact your Baron and Baroness, or you can send them to us. And like we said, if you have questions, you know somebody else has the same questions, so please send them in so that we can get those on the FAQ sheets.
Yeah, we want to make sure everybody's questions get answered. And again, we are super excited to get back out there and see you all in person. It was awesome when we did our trip around the kingdom, but we look forward to not having to keep everybody at arm's reach.
So yeah, so looking forward to seeing everybody soon. Thank you so much. Michaelis, I think you can wrap it up.
This court of Morgan by right of arms king, Elizabeth by grace and beauty queen, by these three ancient words, this herald's pose is now ended. Court is hereby closed.